Blessed to be with you, Kevin Miller, in the morning. You heard Nancy Pelosi going back and forth concerning the president's executive order concerning the citizenship question and whether or not the Supreme Court got it wrong. Well, joining us now, U.S. Census legal analyst, Dr. John C. Eastman. He's a professor of law and constitutional law, scholar at Chapman University School of Law, and also served as the school's dean from June 2007 to January 2010 when he stepped down to pursue a bid for the Attorney Generalship of California. He joins us now. He also clerked for Justice Clarence Thomas at the Supreme Court. Dr. Eastman, you're probably the only one left in California that hasn't moved to Idaho. Welcome, sir.
Well, thanks. I've actually moved to New Mexico, so we're a different direction, but same idea.
Indeed. Everybody's getting out of California. Before we get rolling here, as someone who clerked for the great Justice Thomas, what was that like, and what type of impression and role model was he for you?
Well, by far the best professional experience of my life, and given that he treats his clerks like family, also one of the highlights of my personal life as well. It was an honor to work for him and see greatness in action, both in his intellect, but also in his just genuine niceness to the people around him.
You can't say that for everybody, certainly in business, or I would suppose at the Supreme Court level with that lifetime appointment, it probably can skew people's perception of themselves.
Well, it can, but it hasn't Justice Thomas's. He's at least as comfortable with the guards down in the parking lot as he is with his fellow justices.
Dr. Chapman, let's get right to it. John Roberts, David Souter, or Justice Kennedy?
Or a combination of both. And the healthcare decisions, the census decision, I think demonstrate he's more overtly political in the base sense of that word than we've seen in a long time on the court, and then is appropriate for a justice in my view.
Well, and for people that don't know what a disaster David Souter was, you have many people that weren't even born that listen to this program that don't understand, weren't even born when Souter took to the Supreme Court. What a huge defeat that was for conservatism and republicanism.
Well, that's right. I mean, we've been on the threshold of actually getting a constitutionalist majority on the court for decades now, and yet we always seem to come up short with the expectations of the justices. And note, I said constitutionalist. I didn't say a conservative to counteract the liberal. I said somebody that faithfully applies a law as it's written, whether it leans conservative, leans liberal, or what have you. The lawmaking authority is vested in Congress, subject to the constraints of the Constitution. And the court has no business kind of mediating what it think ought to be the best policy.
Right. We go back to Souter, who it's almost like the liberals have sleeper cells within the circuit courts of the Republican justices that are nominated. I mean, Souter was a disaster, and he was put in there by the first President Bush. He was supposed to restore order to the force. That didn't happen. Could we see this repeating with the Chief Justice?
Well, I hope not at the end of the day. And I think it's important to focus on what exactly the Chief Justice held in this census case, because the press is getting it grossly wrong, and Nancy Pelosi was getting it grossly wrong in her recent comments. So the first thing, the court specifically held that the Constitution allows for us to ask about citizenship on the census. It specifically held that the statute Congress passed allows it, and that Congress delegated that decision as to the content to be included on the census form to the Secretary of Commerce, and that the Voting Rights Act enforcement reason that the Secretary of Commerce gave for adding it was a legitimate reason. But then Chief Justice Roberts said, but I just don't believe that was his real reason, and so we think that's pretext and we're not going to allow it. Now, that was an extraordinary thing that the court had never done before. Normally, they don't question when the government, gives a formal reason for something if it's a valid reason. That they might have had other reasons as well. I'm shocked to learn that politics may be going on in Washington, D.C. It's normally not enough to undermine the perfectly valid and legitimate reason they gave. But what's important to recognize is that decision left open the door for a couple of things. One, for the Department of Justice and the Department of Commerce to better document how that was a reason for adding the citizenship question, and to bolster the record with other perfectly valid reasons. I mean, that's not the only reason we could use a citizenship question. There were dozens of reasons, and to document that as well. And if the President and Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross, and the Department of Justice, include a broader record of those additional reasons why it's perfectly legitimate to be asking about citizenship, I think the court would be obligated to accept the inclusion of citizenship on the census.
With due respect to the office of the court, didn't they weasel out by making this the last decision on the last day so nothing could be done before the census is sent out?
Well, the cases were filed late. It was heard on the last day of the oral argument sessions in April. So I think the timing of it was more the timing of litigation rather than the court deliberately trying to skew things. And also, even though the court is now no longer in session, they still deal with emergency motions throughout the summer and fall until the court reconvenes in October. For example, when I was at the court, we would regularly get death penalty cases at the last minute and emergency appeals, and the justices are always available to be able to act on those emergency relief petitions. So I don't think there was anything nefarious about the timing of its decision. Nor do I think that slowing the census printing process down by a few months, so that the administration, which after all was elected to deal with things like illegal immigration, having a citizenship question might help us immensely in knowing how big the problem is. I don't think the printing press schedule is going to govern this significant policy judgment.
Dr. Chapman, final question here on KIDO Talk Radio. What do you make of the Attorney General says he sees a legal way to add the question to the 2020 census, despite the ruling 2 weeks ago?
Well, that's what I just pointed out. The court decision itself left open that route for the Attorney General, and I think he is pursuing it, and we'll see what he comes up with, maybe today, maybe later this week.
Dr. Chapman, thank you. New Mexico's great. We hope you enjoy it, and thank goodness you're out of California.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you. All right. Let's go to Tom in Nampa with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Kevin. I really wish I could have talked to the good judge there. But question, Pelosi just came out and she said that the Epstein decision back in 2008 was unconscionable. Has she said squat about it since 2008? All these people are now raising their moral superiority flags and waving them very enthusiastically. They haven't said squat about something until it's politically advantageous. Do they have any sense of decency at all? Any sense of justice at all? Or do we live by the soundbite now? We don't think about anything. Well, she said this or he said that.
Well, I think you answered. I think
the soundbite nation.
I think you answered your own question.
Yeah, but it made me feel better.
Ah! I can relate. I mean, for the Speaker of the House to say, what she said concerning people wearing MAGA hats and everything else, is totally inappropriate, totally unacceptable, and probably no one will hold her accountable for it. But you see this pattern. You have AOC going to the border, lying about the conditions there. Then you have Nancy Pelosi with her soundbite saying we want to make America white again because we want citizens to be counted on the census. This is not good for the republic. This is not good for people. This is not good.
Well, one of the things about the whole census thing and the citizenship, Congress critters are, because of the districting, it's how many people are counted. So if you get a county in California, let us say, that has got 10 citizens and a population of 100,000, they're going to get a Congress critter.
That's the idea. That's what they want.
Yeah, these people are after their jobs. They're protecting their jobs, which I can kind of see, but it's like, if you had any semblance of decency, you'd get a job someplace else.
Well, I mean, look, you go back to the Federalist Papers and everything else. I mean, the census was created to count citizens. Nobody else.
Strangely enough, yes.
Citizens. It doesn't say people. Tom, thank you for the call. Phone number's here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Earlier, we were the first to tell you of the mayor of Caldwell's appearance on Fox and Friends. Now, when you hear Fox News on the radio, you're listening to KIDO Talk Radio, your home for Fox News. You heard Fox News at the top of the hour. You've got John Decker, Tanya J. Powers, Eben Brown, and other folks from Fox News that appear on this program quite a bit. Sean Hannity as well. Occasionally we get lucky and we get Bill O'Reilly on. And we're very proud of our Fox affiliation. So earlier this morning you had the mayor of Caldwell appearing on Fox and Friends talking about the Idaho economy. No. Basically talking about the controversy involving PETA and Chicken Dinner Road. Must be a slow news day in New York. And maybe, a lot of people say, well, we don't want to change it. They're not changing the name. It's the Canyon County Commissioners that are actually the decision makers. It was nice to see Mayor Nankolis, who we've, good friend of the program we've had on for years, on Fox and Friends, saying this. And if you missed it, we'll have that for you coming up next. But it's funny, it really is a slow news day when this is rolling. And then you're going to say, is this really news? Well, in Idaho, I think we'd rather cover the Chicken Dinner Road situation than what they're covering in other places. No, I didn't say California. Maybe I thought it, but that's next with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. From our conversation earlier involving the U.S. women's soccer team behaving inappropriately, no, we shared this with you in the 6 o'clock hour. Let's share it with you once again. Earlier, Fox and Friends Steve Ducey had a chance to catch up with Mayor Nankolis, Garrett Nankolis of Caldwell, to talk about all things Chicken Dinner Road. If you don't know about Chicken Dinner Road, if you're new to the area, this is a great history lesson.
We often hear the question, why did the chicken cross the road? But now PETA is asking an Idaho town to change the name of one of their roads. PETA writing to the mayor of Caldwell, Idaho, in protest of Chicken Dinner Road, saying, quote, PETA is asking to change this road's name to one that celebrates chickens as individuals, not as beings to kill, chop up, and label as dinner. The mayor's response? No way, no chance. Mayor Garrett Nankolis joins us right now from Boise, Idaho. Mayor, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay, so when you got this letter from PETA that said, could you change the name of Chicken Dinner Road to Chicken Road as a kinder alternative, what did you think?
When I first got the letter, I honestly thought it was a joke. I read the letter and I literally laughed. But then I realized it was for real, which then the laughter changed to just complete irritation. I thought, oh my goodness, what a waste of time. And it actually made me quite upset.
Well, I know that this has made news out in your neck of the woods. What is the origin of Chicken Dinner Road, Mayor? Where did that come from?
Well, really, it's a rich history. The name of the road used to be just simply Lane Number 12. Okay. A farm family by the name of Morris and Laura Lamb lived on this road. They happened to know the governor at the time. His name was C. Ben Ross. And she was known for her famous chicken dinner, mashed potatoes, rolls, and apple pie. I mean, this lady was well known for this, and she happened to know the governor. And she noticed this Lane 12, where she lived, was just in poor condition. So she invited the governor to her home, served him one of her famous chicken dinners, and took the opportunity to show him the miserable condition of this road and asked him, is there something you could do to make this road better, to get rid of these potholes? Well, the governor told her, if you can get this road road graded, if you can get it graveled, I will make sure that it gets oiled for you. So she called the county commissioners. They agreed to do it. Then she called the governor, reminded him of his commitment to her, and the very next day the road was oiled. And so, that's how the road got oiled. Well, then it happened that on that following Halloween, some people vandalized this brand new road that she was so proud of and wrote on it, Lamb's Chicken Dinner Avenue. And of course, the kid said she came into the house mad as a wet hen, and that this infuriated her. But then the children and the school buses and so forth with this name, it became known as Chicken Dinner, Chicken Dinner, Chicken Dinner. Well, it stuck. And that's the rich history behind that road. It's a part of history.
All right, so the big question is, Mayor, regarding the people of your area, how many of them think that you should change it from Chicken Dinner Road?
Zero. It's amazing what social media does these days. I did an interview live on the radio. I did respond to the newspaper. But at first, I didn't even want to dignify this ridiculous request by giving an answer. But, I better do something. So I did respond, and it has gone viral. And the amazing thing about this is, in 22 years of being mayor, there's been lots of issues come to this city. Not one has been like this. I mean, we are getting letters, emails, text messages, and all kinds of suggestions for new names, such as Drumstick Drive, or mashed potatoes and Chicken Dinner Boulevard, or baked chicken. It's amazing. We've got pictures of people standing under this road sign with their bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's amazing what this has done.
That'd be Greg Pruitt and Zach Brooks, right? Well, thank you, Mayor Nancolis. Remember, when you hear Fox News on the radio, you're listening to KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. You're not going to hear that story in South Central, are you? Traffic and weather together. Kevin Miller in the morning. Good morning, Dave. Kevin Miller in the morning with our own little dumpling, Tea Party Bob. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you today?
Just enjoying our new little dumpling, Tea Party Bob. Dumpling.
Going to be hot down there today. Going to be nice and cool up here, though, I want to tell you.
The pride of New Meadows, Idaho.
This display by the women's soccer team is an embarrassment to our country and the values we hold dear to us as Americans. And it's unfortunate that these players believe they can trounce on the flag because they won a soccer game. These women have lost any respect they ever had from the liberty-minded public. And the only people who are praising them are the left-wing socialist media, that same media that hate Trump and his administration. These women want equal pay, but yes, they don't want to respect the country or the flag that gave them the opportunity to represent America. When we have a way of elevating sports figures in this country to the point where they are almost becoming deities, when in reality they are just people with good athletic abilities and opportunities to excel in sports, we, the people of America, have afforded them with our system a meritocracy, an opportunity to elevate themselves. When these athletes begin to believe they are so important that they can disrespect our country, president, and flag, it's time to tune them out and turn them off. I'm not quite sure where all this vindictiveness comes from about our flag and country, but it shows me that it's time to go back to our educational system and find out what they're teaching our kids in school. This is something I've been talking about for a long time. When parents allow teachers to become caretakers and children of our schools actually look at the schools, and they are daycare centers for them, they're turning these kids over to an educational system that for years has been trying to socialize this country and control the thinking of our kids, who will be the voters of tomorrow. So why is it we give so much praise and credit to the athletes who perform well in one game or for one reason, or for one season, and play yet, to the tune of the people who are out there rooting for them, and to the media? When we have scientists who are curing diseases that can kill you, no one will hear their names. You're never going to hear them on a broadcast, or you're never going to see their names in a newspaper. We have such a problem in this country with misplaced values that I don't think we are ever going to return to what we knew in the past. The press is so biased and radicalized, they'll do anything to get the attention and the attention of the people, regardless. The press is so, by elevating unpatriotic athletes to a place where they don't belong and have been giving them a platform to criticize our country and desecrate our flag. I don't see this changing anytime soon. So where does this leave us? It leaves us in a place where most liberty-minded Americans don't understand why this is happening and can't do much about it, with the exception of ignoring the clowns who are looking for a reaction from the public and are trying to get the same recognition.
Right.
When you have 50% of the people in the country who care about American values and 50% who are looking to change the socialistic values, we have a real crisis point. And in the next election, we're going to find out whether we have 4 more years of freedom and an opportunity to change this country back, or we're going to be in the abyss of socialism.
All right, Tea Party Bob, JumpStatePatriot.com. We appreciate it, brother.
Mr. Miller, I hope you have a great day today. Stay out of the sun, will you?
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. Thank you, Dave Ramsey. Don't forget, Friday, Independence Indoor Shooting. We'll be there live. Your chance to win Garth Brooks tickets and to shoot for free. More details, KIDOTalkRadio.com under the Girls with Guns 2019 post. That contest has begun. It's going to be great as always. Speaking of great, big additions coming to the zoo in Boise. Joining us now, communications manager from the city of Boise, Bonnie Shelton. Bonnie, good to have you with us here on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Kevin. Thanks so much for having me on today.
You know, we miss you on television. You did a great job. Maybe one day you'll return. I know you're doing a great job for the city, but we loved your passion for the reporting back in the day.
Yeah, I had a great time working at KTVZ and obviously loved this community, and I'm so glad to still be a part of it. And I still get to kind of be in that world, but more on the other side now, working with reporters and setting up stories, and still get on camera sometimes when they can catch me. But it's been really fun to be on this side and kind of see all the wonderful things that the city is doing.
Yeah, just showing you what a geek some of us are. I do find it fascinating that they're interviewing you, and you used to interview the folks. It is funny what a small world the Treasure Valley is.
It really is, yeah.
So before we get rolling, any funny Larry Gebert stories you can share with us?
No, I love Larry. I will keep those to myself. But he's a great guy, and everyone always asks, how tall is he? He is very tall. I have to look up to talk to him, but he's a great guy. I love seeing him around town, and we still do some stories together, so that's always been really fun.
No, a very gifted and giving young man, Larry Gebert. So, Bonnie,
young man.
He always looks at me kind of funny when I say that. But, what's going on? What's new at the zoo?
This is such an exciting time for Zoo Boise, and it's been years in the making. A 2.5-acre expansion is going to be opening next week. It's crazy to think that it's so close because we've been working for years. But the Gorongosa National Park exhibit is going to be an incredible way for visitors here in the Treasure Valley to learn more about the conservation mission that Zoo Boise really has been innovative and groundbreaking with over the last few years when they started their conservation fund. A little bit of every admission here at the zoo goes toward that fund and helps support conservation, wildlife preservation around the world. And one of those connections, the strongest connection, in my opinion, is at Gorongosa National Park in Mozambique, Africa. So this exhibit and expansion is going to feature that conservation story and introduce people to the animals that they would find if they were in Mozambique. So we have a crocodile, we have African wild dogs, otters, warthogs. It's really, really cool to see these new additions to the zoo, and people that have been coming here for years, I think, are going to just be blown away by everything that they'll see when it opens next Wednesday. I'm
just glad that you could pronounce Gorongosa because I was struggling with that.
Yeah. At times, people say Gorgonzola. It is not the cheese. It's Gorongosa National Park. But they have an incredible story, and there's been a lot of changes going on at that wildlife park, and we're really excited just to have Zoo Boise be a part of that.
Well, and it is called Zoo Boise right here just down the road from the broadcast center, but it really is Idaho's zoo, certainly the Treasure Valley Zoo, and people from all over, whether they've been here for a while or, are new to the Treasure Valley, should check out the zoo. And again, this is my curmudgeon question, Bonnie, so I'll apologize in advance. What's so great about the zoo?
Honestly, I don't think most people know that the city of Boise manages the zoo, and it's actually in the Boise Parks and Recreation portfolio. And our mission at Boise Parks and Recreation is to get people out to improve their wellness and well-being, really that quality of life piece that makes living here in Idaho and in Boise in particular such a wonderful thing. And coming to the zoo, to me, really is an experience and creating those memories with your family. You get to come and see incredible animals and wildlife. We have giraffes. We have our new tiger, Diana, that just joined us this year. Things that kids growing up will remember, those awesome memories. And where else can you get up close and learn and see these animals? And it really creates such an important connection to the importance of preserving wildlife and protecting it. And again, I'll mention that conservation mission that the zoo has. I think it's really unique, and people need to understand hundreds of thousands of dollars are going toward preserving animals in their natural habitat around the world. And you'll see that up close and personal, learn about that at the Gorongosa National Park exhibit that opens on July 17th. So we really hope everyone will come out and check it out, whether you've been to the zoo recently or not for many years. I think it's a great way to learn about how your visit to the zoo is really impacting conservation around the world.
All right, there we have it. Our great friend Bonnie Shelton joining us from the city of Boise, communications manager, talking about the zoo. And the cool thing about the zoo is, and Bonnie, you've been around a while. People go, well, I've got to get out, I've got to go away, which costs a lot of money. But here we have this great resource. And again, traveling from Kuna, Nampa, Caldwell, or Meridian, or what have you, Mountain Home, you don't have to go to Salt Lake. You don't have to go anywhere else to get this world-class facility right here, and it's very affordable.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Very affordable, and you can spend a few hours here. That's the great part about its location. It's right in Julia Davis Park, right near downtown. We have people who will come spend a few hours at the zoo with their family, grab lunch here, grab a Dole Whip, and then walk out straight to the Greenbelt, spend some time on the Greenbelt, head over to Ann Morrison Park. It's an easy jaunt to downtown. I think it's just such a great launching point for exploring all the wonderful parks and places that we have here in the city of Boise. And like you said, it's so close. It's so easy. Really want to keep it affordable for families so they can create those memories here. And it's just fun. It's cool to see these animals up close. I was just checking out Diana, the tiger, this morning because I'm here. We're having media day today at the new exhibit. And it's just one of those things where I kind of pinch myself that this is here in Boise and you can come experience it any day of the week.
Bonnie Shelton, we appreciate you, big fans of yours, and thank you for waking up with us this morning.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on. It's great to talk to you. And everybody, I hope you'll come out and see this new exhibit at Zoo Boise on July 17th, Gorongosa National Park. It's going to be awesome.
You're always on message, boy. Even in the goodbye, you're back to message. Boy.
Hey, I know my job, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Well, we can learn a lot from you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a great day.
Okay, you as well, our great friend Bonnie Shelton. And again, one of the great resources, and our mission always is to wake up on the right side and to make our day a little better, right? And a trip to the zoo with your kids, your grandkids, heck, with your spouse, sounds like a great time. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say, speaking of the zoo, here's Liberal Steve. I'm not going to say that. In other words, Liberal Steve...
Good morning, Miller.
Oh, boy. There goes the tune-out factor by 100.
Chicken Dinner Road, I'll take it to go. Max and Pete and all these people across America got to leave the soccer girls alone. They won. They won. If they want to step on the flag, they want to say something about Trump, that's their right as American citizens. They were number one. Leave it alone.
So you're saying it's okay for them to step on the flag and dance on it?
In sign of a protest, absolutely.
Wasn't a sign of a protest. They were so self-indulgent, so self-centered, they forgot the flag that they were playing for.
So you can't protest? The flag is what? What is the flag, Kevin Miller? What is the American?
It's a symbol.
Not American.
It's a symbol of our great nation. It's a symbol of all the men and women and people that we'll never know that sacrificed everything to give us what we have today. It should be honored and respected.
So when you're mistreated, and treated terrible, and underpaid and everything else, what better symbol than the American flag to stomp on?
How are you mistreated?
I'm not mistreated. The ladies are mistreated.
How are they mistreated?
They were underpaid, number one, big time. Men were like almost double what they made.
Well, the men bring in more money than they do.
Well, who cares?
Well, no, it's just simple economics. You can't sit there and make it up. You don't have a money tree and go, well, I'm going to pay the ladies this because I'm a touchy-fishy, feely-squeechy kind of guy.
Oh, is it all about what you bring in?
Yeah.
If you're digging a ditch and I'm digging a ditch, wouldn't you want to get paid the same as me?
Depends. Digging a ditch? Yes, but if you're more productive than I am, you should get more money. And you would be. There's no doubt in my mind you'd be more productive at digging a ditch than I would.
I want to say thank you to Max for not bringing up the Chi-Coms. Talk about being an American and a Marine. He's always bringing up the Chi-Coms. The Chi-Coms this, the Chi-Coms that. He gets so tired of the Chi-Coms.
They're our most dangerous foe.
Kimmy Bimmy is our most dangerous foe. President Bush called him the axis of evil.
Well, that was his daddy.
No.
Yeah, that was his daddy.
Was it his daddy?
Yes.
Oh.
Now, people that are tuning in right now are wondering, is this going anywhere on KIDO Talk Radio? Is this conversation really happening? Is this going anywhere?
I listened 580 KIDO radio AM and 107.5 FM at the same time today. There's a difference in the time they put that up. But I listened to it for almost 2 hours now, and I heard nothing that would accomplish anything as far as the future. Nothing.
Wait a minute. You just heard a great piece on the zoo.
Yeah, I'll zoo you too, boo. Hey, how about this Minnesota thing?
That didn't make any sense.
Where these people are paying $300 for their diabetic insulin, and they go across the DMZ into Canada, and they buy it for $30. It's Langdon or London.
I don't really get how you can how there's a price spike on insulin since the patent must have run out on it years ago.
Yeah. So what? How And that's if you have insurance, you don't pay hardly anything. If you don't have insurance, you pay $300.
That's a lot of insulin.
Who can pay $300 out whenever they need their insulin? I couldn't. Could you?
No.
Well, why aren't we looking at stuff like this? And what's with Crapo working with Trump?
Actually, we are. President Trump's going to put price controls on the drug companies. He said that last week.
Did you get the thing in the mail about the rebate?
Rebate?
Yeah, I got a advertisement from Crapo and
I'm not on this mailing list. I'm not on the mailing list.
About the medical rebate.
I'm not on the mailing list. Is there anything else, sir?
No, that's about it. I had nothing else to say. What? Is God mad at Washington, D.C., almost drowning them out? I was looking around for Noah's boat. Holy macaroni.
Let us know when you find Noah in the boat, please.
So I guess he's got no what do you call that when you're not prejudiced? He gave California an earthquake, and they're all Democrats, and he almost grounded Washington, D.C., and they're all Republicans. So maybe he's just mad at America.
Right.
Maybe God.
That would be a bipartisan shellacking. Liberal Steve, thank you for the call.
What if God?
Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call.
Is that?
Thank you for the call.
That's the tune.
Thank you for the call, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Rolling to Glenn Beck, Rob in Cuna. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kevin. I apologize if there's a lot of background noise there. Just wanted to call and comment counter to Liberal Steve there. I'm not sure where he's getting his numbers, but I'm diabetic myself. I don't have insurance. I fall right in that gap of people that make too much money to get the subsidy and then subsequently can't afford to pay out of pocket for insurance. So I pay out of pocket for all of my medical needs. And I pay $25 a vial for insulin. So I'm not sure where he's getting his numbers there.
Well, that's reassuring, $25 for a vial of insulin. But you do agree we need to do something about our healthcare system?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I voted against the Medicare for All, even though I'm a person that could use Medicare for All. I just didn't think it was a good way to go. So when it was up for a vote, I voted against it. But we absolutely do need to fix something. I mean, you know, it's ridiculous, especially for people like me who have a decent job and can't afford to get health insurance.
Well, it's very selfless of you, voting against your own self-interest.
Well, you know, I don't know if it's selfless, but
I'd say,
you know, it's just a smart thing to do. I didn't think that was smart for our state and our budget. I didn't know how it's even sustainable, to be honest with you.
Well, I would agree with you, Rob. I don't think it is sustainable, and that's the hidden treasure, the hidden bad treasure that's going to happen to all of us, especially with these new proposals from the Democrats running for president and everything else. It isn't sustainable.
You know, it really cracks me up as, you know, even though Medicare for All passed here, I'm still not eligible for it to help me in any way, shape, or form. So, not sure how it's really Medicare for All.
Rob, sadly, that's a great point. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you, Kevin. Have a great day. Appreciate what you do.
And you, Rob. Thanks. God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye-bye.
And by the way, this just in, Ross Perot has died. Ross Perot has died. Catch more at the top of the hour with Fox News. They'll have the latest. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio, traffic and weather together. Thank you, Larry. I'm Kevin Miller. Ross Perot dead at 89. Amazing. Say what you want about him. He surely had people talking back in 92 and 96, right? Not a favorite of the Bush family. On a better note, don't forget this Friday will be an Independence Indoor Shooting in beautiful Meridian, Idaho. Shooting for free. Stop by during the morning show. Register to win a pair of tickets to see Garth Brooks. Wow, Garth Brooks. Big time show. Your chance to win. Come by, shoot for free, talk on the radio, and register to win. Independence Indoor Shooting. Ray Amaya, great job as always. I want to thank everyone for listening. We really appreciate you giving us the time of day. God bless everyone.